Biggest challenges that we face is being completely drowned in emails. It just sometimes it can feel like you go to work or you sit in your office and your entire day is just reading, replying, and organizing your emails. So with this handy and in workflow, we are going to create a AI agent that will automatically organize your emails and your inbox as you receive every single email and provide you with a very neat report and overview of what needs to be done. So let's go ahead and build this out. I already have a new workflow open here in n8n. So what I'm going to do is let's just give it a name and we're calling it YT Inbox Organizer. And the first thing that we are going to do is add a trigger, and that trigger is going to be Gmail. So you go ahead and click Gmail, click triggers, and go on message received. I already have my credentials set up. If you don't, you can click this little pencil icon and sign in with Google. It's pretty straightforward. And you can leave the poll time as every minute, which means it's going to listen for new emails every single minute, which is fine for now. You could customize it however you want it, but this is fine. Remember to leave simplify off, because if you do turn simplify on, you're not going to get the entire content of the message, which is, and we don't want that to happen. So let's go ahead and turn simplify off. And let's fetch a test event, which is going to probably pull the last email that I received. Let's go ahead and fetch. And let's see what we have. So we have an invoice email over here. Perfect. Um, let's go ahead and move on to the next step. So the next step is going to be to add something called a text classifier. And the text classifier is an AI node, which you can provide it with an input and you can give it instructions, and it will classify or label that particular piece of text or information as anything that any instruction that you give, and then you can route that data into different directions. So it'll become clearer as we demonstrate. So the text to classify is first going to be the from, and let's go ahead and find the from email. So the from is over here. Perfect. We also want the subject, which in this case is this over here. Perfect. And we also want the body, which is going to be the text. So now that we have all of that, we also need to add categories and an AI model. So let's go ahead and add the AI model first. The model I'm going to use is OpenAI because I have this set up. It's pretty easy. You can go ahead and just click this little pencil icon, go to platform.openai.com, grab your API key and add it over here. Now that you have your chat model in, let's go back here and add our categories. Now for this demonstration, I have set 5 categories, and for that, I've made a Google Sheet in which I'm going to track all of the emails. Let me go ahead and show you that Google Sheet. So this is the Google Sheet here. The 5 categories are invoices, customer service, new leads, service providers, and I forgot to rename this. Go ahead and call this other. Perfect. So the first email that we received was indeed an invoice. So let's go ahead and figure out how we can log the email over here and set up all of that in n8n. So now that we're back in n8n, let's call the first one invoices, and the description is going to be invoices received from vendors for their services or products. Perfect. The second category was customer service. Let's go ahead and add that. Customer service description is going to be customer service requests from existing customers. Now, the description is very important because that is what gives the AI model context as to how to categorize these emails. The next category is new lead. Let's go ahead and click new lead. The description is inquiries from potential customers about our services, which include, I'm going to just add a few random things: content marketing, YouTube marketing, and video editing. Perfect. Let's go ahead and add one more category. That other category is service providers. Let's go ahead and hit service providers. And the description is going to be cold, cold emails from service providers pitching their services and products to me. Okay. And the last one is other emails. This is a fallback for emails that don't fit the above, categories. Now you can obviously add as many more or as many less categories as you need, but for a demonstration, let's go ahead and stick to these 5 because these are pretty common. Most businesses and professionals will need these. So now we can go ahead and test the step, and if we test it, if all goes well, hopefully it should categorize it as an invoice. And you can see that it has indeed categorized it as an invoice. Perfect. Now that it has categorized it as an invoice, we'll see that the invoices line is green, which means we do have one piece of data which has gone down this route. And now we can build out the rest of our automation. So from invoices, we actually have to extract the data from the email and then add that data to our Google Sheet. So in order to do that, the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a chat completion or message and AI agent. So let's go ahead and go to advanced AI and a basic LLM chain. That's what we're looking for. Now, we don't want a chat trigger node. We actually need to define the prompt below, which is going to be from. Let's find who it's from. Perfect. Yeah. And we also need the subject, which is this. We also need the body of the message, which is the text over here. Perfect. And we're also going to pull the message ID because we're going to need that message ID to make any changes to that message, like marking it unread or adding a label or something. So let's go ahead all the way back up and we should find an ID over here. Perfect. And wait, it's not in the classifier. It should be in the headers over here. And this is the message ID that we are looking for. And yeah, that's fine. We also want to require a specific output format. And we're going to need to connect an output parser for that, but let's do all of that. We also want to add a system message. So in that system message, please analyze this email and extract the invoice amount, which vendor it's from. Let's go back to the sheet and see what's up. We have a from, we have a subject, we have the amount, we have the date, and we also have the invoice number. So we need 3 data points from this email. We want what it's for, we want how much it was, and we want the invoice number. And extract the invoice amount, which vendor it's from, which service it is for, which vendor it is from, and the invoice number. Return as a JSON object. Perfect. And let's go ahead and add a model, which is going to be OpenAI. It's fine. That's all set. And we also will require an output parser. And what an output parser does is it takes the output from the language model and it gives it to us in a very specific format, which will make life much easier for us to deal with that data and add it to the spreadsheet as we need it. So for that, we're going to choose structured output parser. And we're going to have to give it some sample data. So what is the sample data that we have? We have invoice number, and remember to add double quotes where needed. Vendor name, Acme Industries. And you can just make things up over here because the AI model, this is just for reference. Invoice date. And the date is going to be 12 December 2025. And what was the last thing that we were asking for? Let's go back here. The amount, the service, the vendor, and the date. Okay. Amount, service, vendor, invoice number, and date. Let's see what we have here. We have amount. We don't have the amount. Amount. All right, perfect. So we have our JSON sample here. Let's go ahead and test the workflow one more time. And hopefully that should give us an output of everything that we're looking for. Test. And we'll see that we have our invoice number, we have the vendor name, the invoice date, the amount, and the service rendered in March. So now that we have all of this information, it's time to go ahead and update our Google Sheet. So I'm just going to go ahead and now we're going to add Google Sheets node. And here we want to add append or update row in Sheet. I've already got my Google account connected. The document is going to be email organizer. The sheet is going to be invoice. And let's go ahead and map all of those columns. So the from is going to be Acme Solutions. The subject is going to be services rendered. The amount is here. The date is here. And we also have the invoice number, which is this. And if we go ahead and test this step, we should see that our Google Sheet has updated. And we don't have, all right, so we have to add the column to match on parameter. So we actually need to append a row, not update a row. And that, yeah, that's what the issue was. Let's test that step one more time. And we should hopefully have all of this data entered in our Google Sheet. Amazing. Okay, so now that that's done, this entire track is done. Last step could be to go ahead and just label that email. So let's go ahead and search for label, add label to message. And for this, you're going to have to go ahead and create that label. So let's go back into Gmail. I'm going to go ahead and add a label called invoices YT. Go ahead and create that. And we want to add a label. The message ID is this ID over here. And the label name is invoices. Okay, we need to refresh these. So let's go back out and see if we can't refresh these. Invoices YT. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and test that step and make sure it's working. And we'll see that indeed this message should have been labeled. It has been labeled as invoices YT. And as a final step, we can mark the message as read. So let's go ahead and duplicate this step. Oops. And this time what we want to do is mark as read. Perfect. And if we run this, we should see that this email has been marked as read. Perfect. So now that we have the invoices branch set up, we're going to do the same thing for all of the other branches. Now, this is fairly repetitive, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I'm not going to explain what I'm doing because we already have everything set here. I'm just going to grab all of this, duplicate it, and connect it to the next node. But to do that, we will need sample emails. So I've used a little bit of help from ChatGPT to generate sample emails for each one. So the next one is going to be customer service. Let's go ahead and find a customer service email. And I'm going to compose and we can send it to ourselves. All right, let's go ahead and okay, so this. All right, let's go ahead and send and see what's up. Let's make sure that we have received. All right, so we have received the email. Let's go back here and test the workflow one more time. And this time it should trigger the second branch. And it has indeed triggered the customer service branch. Now we're just going to do a little bit of cheating by grabbing all of this, right clicking, and we're going to duplicate all of them. And we're just going to change the instructions. And everything else can pretty much be the same. We're just going to need to make some changes to the prompt and the structured output parser. So let's go back in here and please analyze this email and extract the customer. Let's see what fields we have in here. So we have the from, which is the name, the request, the date, and the status. So we just need the name, the request, and the status. Customer name, the request, and the date. That's all that we're looking for right now. Let's go ahead and go back to the output parser and just make sure we have these three fields this time. So we just need, and actually we should also add an order number where relevant. Order number if applicable. Okay, we can go back here, add one column to the left and call it order number. Perfect. Let's go back, change our, this time it's an order number. So we have the name, we have the request, and we have the date, and we have the request. We can go ahead and remove this, and that is set. Let's go back and test this to make sure everything's working. So we don't have a date, and I think the reason is that we are not, the email content didn't have the date, and we're not passing the date from the email as well. So let's go ahead and add the date from here, from the Gmail node, from the Gmail node as well. So let's go ahead, pass that in, and test that step one more time, and hopefully we should get all of the fields this time. All right, perfect. And we can add one more instruction, date formatted as. All right, that should work. Let's test it one more time. Hopefully that should fix it. And we have everything over here. That's perfect. And let's go back to the Google Sheet. This time it's not an invoice. It is going to be a customer service request. We have to map each column. So the order number is going to be the order number. From is the name. The request is this over here. And the date is this over here. And obviously the status is going to be pending. All right, we can test that step. And we'll see that we did indeed have our Google Sheet updated. Perfect. Right. And the only other thing that we need to change is instead of the invoices YT label, we actually need to create a new label. And let's go ahead and call that customer service YT. Create. Let's go back in here, test this step. And let's also test the mark as read step and go back to the inbox and see if everything's working or not. And you'll see that indeed, oops, I chose the wrong label over here. It's not invoices YT. It should be customer service YT. Test. Go back. And it is indeed customer services YT. And because we added the incorrect label earlier, I'm just going to go ahead and delete that manually. All right, perfect. So that is the second kind of email done. Now the other three is new lead, service providers, and other emails. So let's go down and let's go ahead and send a new lead email. So we have interested in your services. Okay. Go ahead and send this back to us. Let's go ahead and grab the body here. Perfect. Let's send that out and let's see what fields we need for new lead from subject. And let's also add a company name because that's what we And as a set of subject, we should call this request. Okay, perfect. Let's go back in here. Same steps as before. So we've received the email. Let's go ahead and test the workflow. This time it should go down the new lead path. And you'll see that it has indeed gone down the new lead path. So we can go ahead and select all of these, duplicate, drag them down here. And let's go ahead and hook up this node over here. And let's make the changes that we need to make. Analyze the extract the sender name, the company name if applicable, the date. We have the date. You do have the date. And their request. Perfect. And we need to change the output parser as well. So we have name, Bob, company, date, and the request. Perfect. So we can test this step and hopefully it should populate everything the way we're looking for. Perfect. And now we can make the changes in the Google Sheet as well. So instead of customer service, it is now going to be new lead. It's going to fetch the columns and just go ahead and drag everything down here. From is this, company name is this, the date is this, and the request is this. Status is pending. Test. Let's make sure that everything is updated in our Google Sheet the way we're expecting. And it has indeed been updated. Perfect. And we also need to add a label and we need to mark the message as read. So same steps as before. Create, go down here. And instead of customer service, this time we're going to say new leads. Perfect. Test. Done. Test. And done. All right, so we have 3 branches all configured to deal with invoices. We have a branch to deal with customer service. We also have a branch to deal with new leads for your business. Now, this is a fairly simplistic automation. You could certainly add as many layers of complexity as you want. For now, we're not assigning anybody any of these tasks, but we could also instruct the AI model to automatically assign these tasks to whoever you choose from your employees. And the method for setting up the remaining 2 branches for service providers and other emails is going to be the same. We just have to grab everything from here, go ahead and duplicate it, connect it to this one, and just change the fields where relevant. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Little automations like these where they're fairly simple, but they can end up saving you an incredible amount of time and a lot of headache. You can just keep referring to your Google Sheet to see what's going on, and it'll give you a high-level overview of what emails are require your attention and what emails you can safely ignore and what needs to be done. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like. Do leave a comment if you have any questions or anything to share, and subscribe to the channel for more AI and automation content.